Hello, it's Jay checking in, my first check in with In the Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, a 2021 fantasy novel, high fantasy novel set in a very Norwegian inspired kind of medieval world where it's very much the land of the sagas. There are these these warriors, and there's thrall, the slaves of the warriors. Um, Both the women and the men are are fully battle capable. Um, it's split into various storylines. One focusing on a family, father, mother, and son living well outside of their community. And you get very much the sense that Orca, the woman, and Thrail, Thrail, and are both, they're older. You get the very battle hardened. They've seen shit. Don't particularly like hanging around other folk, being too up against maybe what might be more power structures. They have a creature in the water that guard helps guard them, that she feeds her spit and blood to I guess bind it to her. Um, she, Orca, is very much the harder of the two parents. She's the tough one, and she's like, "You're being too kind, easy on our son." There's a son who is this kind of young Braille is kind of a young guy. There is child thieves working the area, murder some neighbors, and their son goes missing, and indeed other children have gone missing. Other people have been murdered. So there is that going on. We have Vral, who we meet running at top speed away from something. The image of strangling his master to death in his head, who ends up taking up with the Bloodsworn, this band of what seem to be kind of mercenaries who happen to be holding an open audition for a new slot because one of their number has died, and he desperately wants to talk to their witch, because he needs her to do a incantation for his now dead sister, who lies dead and cold. And it's sort of an implication that this is something that will torment her murderer, perhaps. In a way, he takes on the the giant monster of a guy who everyone has to fight, and he gets beaten, but he bites him and lames him, not permanently, but they kind of like his thing. So he's taken off again because he's being hunted. He gets captured by the son of the guy, I guess, that he's at least accused of murdering, but gets saved by the Bloodsworn, who prevent this from happening in a most bloody fashion, and indeed gets trained up and is now being equipped. And he just like, I want the witch to do this. It's like, well, you have to actually your earn your bones basically in battle before you can be Bloodsworn. And I don't know if he'll be considered that because this foreign foreign prince comes on them and says, "I want that guy, one of the Bloodsworn." It's like, well, you can't have him. He's Bloodsworn. You can't have him. It's like, I will take him. You will not refuse me. It's like, and they're trying to like kind of just leave quickly, but they get caught, and got dudes attack, and Frail is gets he ends up jumping a guy on the horse and stabbing him to death. Um, and ends up on the horse at the end of it. It's like, what are you doing up there? It's like, I have no idea, because he has no idea. He has been a slave for most of his life, a thrall for most of his life, forced to just fight men for his master's profit, and he has no idea how to ride a horse, and he's just sort of sitting up on it going, ugh. And the guy who, the very kind of slick, kind of well coiffured Bloodsworn, very unlike a lot of the other ones, you know, you get the sense this is very much a ragtag bunch with many different histories, sort of like the Black Company in the Black Company books by Cook. George? No, not Cook. The hell's his name? Yeah, whoever writes the Black Company books. So there's that going on, and then there's a third line, which is this woman with this other, what seems to be kind of maybe a mercenary group. This is the least engaging line for me. She is a warrior amongst them, seems to have earned her place as kind of an equal warrior. I think the blurb says something about maybe she's a prince who forswore that to be a warrior, princess to be a warrior. They come upon a guy, a man, woman, and child again, fighting a troll. There are trolls in this world. There's all sorts of these fallen creatures who seem to have swarmed out when the gods died. Oh yeah, the whole premise of this world is that there were gods, but they had a big battle and destroyed themselves, and the only things that are left are their offspring, probably a mix of human and god, and those are really hated and just basically killed whenever found. Don't know if that's what the Dragonborn are that we find out kill Orca's husband and steal Braille. Braille. I have no idea what the names are. I'm making B sound names for the son. But yes, she comes upon them, they're taken captive. Turns out that she is as well is some sort of witch. They're going to take her to sell her, basically. A sea thing comes out and knocks the kid over, and this warrior woman dives in and saves the kid, kind of just because she's a big damn hero, to be honest. You get the sense that she's just doing it because of that, which is which point her leader says, like, well, we're selling them, so you got a problem with that? It's like, no, I don't have a problem with that. It's the least engaging of the thing. I'm not sure where it kind of connects. I have much more of a connection with Orca and with Vrail than I do with this warrior woman. There's also those kind of machinations of politics going around. Orca and Thrail's, the nearby village that they sort of are kind of connected to, where they bring the bodies of the murdered neighbors, are getting sucked up under the control of a woman politician, warrior all thing, which is basically going to go toe to toe with another group. There basically seem to be consolidations of power. So who's going to come out on top? And yeah, it's like, oh great, we're all going to get enlisted in this battle for whoever gets to have the most shit, and it's going to benefit whoever gets the most shit. It's not going to benefit us, and if we're lucky, our side will come out on top, but we'll probably still, most of us will get killed doing this for you, and we don't have particular choice. Very much a kind of a rugged, kind of individualistic kind of thing, though there is enough maybe hints there of like, well, you got to kind of bind together into the body politics if you're going to survive in this world. Being lone wolves off on your own probably ain't going to work out so great, as I guess is seen by whatever marauding group killed everybody killed Orca's husband and stole off with her kid, whom she is now going to hunt down and find. And they have a strange little creature who Braille finds and insists that they nurse back to health, and takes an oath to protect him. That is probably going to be Orca's companion as she goes to hunt thing, because there's all these little creatures, and there's trolls, and there's there's a horrific scene of the warrior woman is like lying in a camp, and these weird worms come out and come up and start and just kind of suck them people onto the ground, and are trying to like shove into their mouths and into it, up through their noses to burrow into them. And luckily most of them break free, but one doesn't, and it's like it's inside, it gets inside him, and it's just eating him from the inside. It eats him from the inside out, and he's dead. It's like really gross and really disgusting. So in other words, wow, awesome, terrifying. So yeah, that's about all I've got so far with this. I don't know how much I'll have to say. It's definitely got that kind of saga feel of a Norse saga. We do have a scene of Freyl, of not yeah Freyl in with the Bloodsworn, and a guy reciting a song, and getting that the broken brow beat against the bastards of Browning, that alliteration, that kind of hard clacking sound of that kind of Norse poetic saga language is captured, which is really cool. That's like, Wynn's obviously taking from this stuff and is trying to reduplicate that in his story. It's not a big part of it, but it's like, oh yeah, there it is. There's the historical record that Wynn has used and is now echoed in his story. So yeah, that's what I've got so far. Far stronger as a fantasy story than my last series, which I still haven't done a review of. I'm so kind of disappointed by the end of that I have not done anything, but maybe I will do that this week off. I will do that this week off. Get it dusted off one way or the other, even if I don't release it. All right, I will leave it there and go inside and say hello to Ja. More videos in just a second, probably, once I bring the dogs out.